Aloha, everybody. This is your spiritual warrior goddess, Cathy Bilsky, on the Quantum Leap Light Show. And this is UPRN Radio, and it is Lordy, February 3rd, 2017. Tonight we are going to definitely do some energy work. Lordy, does the planet need it? We're going to talk a little bit about what fascism is, because that certainly popped up a lot on the planet this last week now, hasn't it? And I'm going to give you kind of my take on what the hell is going on with Trump, okay? So you got to have to look at it kind of like a story. And now I look at Trump as a Nazi, a white racist, and blah, blah, blah. Now, how do we know? How does it look like he is all these things? Well, I guess the first clue is when you put a Nazi alt-right person in called Steve Bannon, who actually, I believe, is calling the shots. He's the president behind the president, okay? So he's a Nazi, and they have their agendas, don't they? And if you really understand World War II and what Hitler did, you're going to see a lot of the same things that they're trying to do that Hitler did to get in power. The only thing different, and it's a big difference, is back then, during World War II, they didn't have light workers like us. And I have to admit that I was getting a little discouraged after we did so much light work last year and calling down Enlightenment. And after we did the last event on December 21st, and then nothing really was happening, and I just kind of went on my own way. And then Trump comes into power. And wow, talk about pulling so many people together. And you look at the Earth, guys, and you are seeing a major awakening on the planet. A major consciousness that people are having, a connected to Source. And they're standing up to fascism, and they're saying, we ain't going to do it. And they're out there protesting. I don't know about you guys, but that is a big confirmation of all the work we've done last year. And we're still doing, okay? Now, we've got another World Enlightenment going on, and it's going to be August 21st this year, and that's actually on solar eclipse. So you can join. We've got two websites up. One's worldenlightenment2017.org. The other one is enlightenmentmovement2016.shutterfly.com. Both have awesome information. And of course, we've got the Twitter page, World Enlightenment 17 at Enlight the World. And we've got the Facebook page, World Enlightenment, August 21, 2017 solar eclipse. We are so ahead of where we were last year, huh? So keep that in mind. We are doing another World Enlightenment because it does make a difference what we do and the activism we do. Got to do it on the ground, but if you don't do the energy work too, it's not going to work. And if you don't think the other side that does darkness and people that stand up for Trump are doing satanic work, then you don't know the Nazis. So let's get back into a little bit of Trump history, okay? Now, I personally believe, and to me this is the only reason why I could see Trump being in power, other than, what did I talk to you last week about the Mandela effect? How, don't you feel we're living in an alternative reality? And the reality that they're trying to they're trying to push us into is the Fourth Reich. And again, it's not working very well for them because all the light workers are coming up and they're speaking their truth. Yay! So back to Trump. Yeah, I believe he's the son of Hitler. And remember, Trump's 70-71, and if you take that back to when he was born, Hitler and his crew, who actually did escape during World War II, and that was a false history we were given. But during that time, they did a lot of experimentation. They were doing cloning, and they were doing artificial insemination back then. And I love it how Hollywood puts out awesome movies that reminds us of what happened back then. So if you've never seen The Boys from Brazil with Gregory Peck, it was actually about cloning Hitler. Yeah, pretty scary movie. So, okay, so you got the evil Trump son, Hitler's son, Trump, out there. Now he's got a German dad for a father, which is no big deal. You know, I know a lot of really cool German people. But this German father belonged to the KKK, and if you don't know what that is, that's the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, now, we've talked about history. We've talked about people trying to start World War III, right? And this goes back to Albert Pike, who, by the way, actually created the Ku Klux Klan. Now, see how this is all tying together? Okay. So Albert Pike, who was a Confederate general, and fought in the War of the States, except this guy was a Satanist, and he was supposed to be able to talk or have many talks with Lucifer. And during these many talks, Lucifer supposedly gave him 3 prophecies. And the 3 prophecies were on the 3 world wars we were going to have on the planet. World War I happened, World War II happened. They definitely manifested those, and they are doing their best to manifest World War III. Now, and part of that prophecy from Lucifer, Lucy, was that World War III was going to be started between, have to do with the Middle East. Now, what are these bozos trying to do? Yeah, they're really trying to not only create a lot of chaos, but start a lot of shit in the Middle East. And then when you step back and you go, oh, who's pushing all this agenda forward? Oh, Nazi Steve Bannon. Interesting. And again, they're doing the Nazi playbook, and they're getting rid of everybody they can that can hold them back and make a decision. And anybody who disagrees, what does Trump do? He thinks he's on The Apprentice. Ooh, you're fired. Trademark. I think he says that, right? God, how gross. So yeah, you got Nazis in power. You have to be aware and really look at it. So, okay. So here we've got these guys trying to manifest World War III. Why? Because of a prophecy that Albert Pike, who created the KKK, whose Trump's father was part of, right? Got the dots? Connecting the dots? And they're trying to manifest World War III. Well, cancel, clear, cancel, clear, cancel, clear. Our resistance is making a difference. The one thing that they are not counting on, not only are all you light workers out there doing the work and mucking up their energy and mucking up their satanic work, all you people out there that are protesting. You just, those are awakened people, like I said. Get excited. Get excited over all the work we did, because that is our confirmation that what we do makes a difference. Your activism makes a difference. Your resistance makes a difference. And if you don't think so, well, that really famous, expensive retailer called Nordstrom, well, because of all y'all protesting and speaking your mind, they canceled the Ivanka clothing line. That's a big deal. So, guys, really, your activism and your resistance means a lot. Keep speaking out. It really is important. And I find myself saying this a lot. Would you have kept quiet when Hitler was coming into power during World War II? Because this, my friends, is no different. And we cannot let the Nazis have their way. So let's talk a little bit about the alt-right. And, if you don't know what that is, it's another word for Nazis. They think that if they can change the label, it's going to change what they are. It's just old fascism in new clothes. And like most viruses, fascism adapts to changing environments, and it's just as deadly. To call the self-styled alt-right neo-fascist is a bit of an exaggeration, but the overstatement doesn't lie in the fascist part. It's the neo that is a bit of a stretch. Like most viruses, fascism adapts itself to changing environments. We should not expect it to look the same in the 21st century globalized liberal democracy as it looked in traumatized European societies struggling after the aftermath of the First World War and the onset of the Great Depression. Oh, gee, onset of the Great Depression. What are those bozos trying to do in office now in the White House? If not create an economic collapse, maybe? I don't know. Can't so clear. To that extent, the forms it is now taking, and we're talking about fascism, are largely novel and is adapted to different political and historical circumstances and to radically new technologies, most obviously the power of social media. But the novelty lies in the forms, not in the content, in the medium rather than in the message. So, of course, the signifiers of fascism in its early manifestations are largely, though not entirely, absent. The uniform vanguards, the street battles, the highly developed sense of public theater, the gang mentality is, for the moment at least, generated more easily online than in physical reality. But these surface changes are surely less important than the underlying continuities. Now, there are 6 important ways in which the current version of fascism is fully loyal to the tradition from which it comes. So, heads up, y'all. So, you got to be within. The first and second are closely intertwined, the belief that everything is defined by membership of a racial group, and the belief that the relationship between these racial groups is inevitably a struggle to the death for supremacy, because race is such a slippery and ultimately nonsensical concept. It can be refigured as a religious or ethnic identity. Thus, both the United States and Europe are white and Christian, and these white Christians are in an existential conflict with the others, Muslims, blacks, and Latinos. History is a zero-sum game. Either we subjugate them or they will subjugate us. The alt-right takes the social Darwinist mindset directly from classic fascism. Its logic now, as in the 1930s, is eliminationist. They must, and if they won't, we have got to get rid of them. The third continuity is the enemy within. Fascism is deeply embroiled with the psychology of treason, the stab in the back, the cancer in our own ranks. The big existential enemies, the Muslims, the black, and the brown people, are only doing what their evolutionary racial instincts require them to do. It is their nature to want to subjugate us, but it is white liberals, through their weakness and misplaced tolerance, that have allowed them to swamp us. Hence, liberals and their false gods of tolerance and inclusivity and equality are especially despicable. To win the existential war against the race enemy, we must first purge those apostates on our own side therefore sapping our will to fight. These attitudes are essential to all right discourse as they were to fascism in the 1930s. From sexual neurotic to man-god. Fourth, there is a sexual pathology. Fascism reeks of male self-pity. That has always been deeply attracted to men who are insecure about their own sexuality and in particular their relationships to women. It's a magical formula for transforming the sexual neurotic into a man-god. The alt-right world is a masturbatory fantasy in which men who are afraid of women get to assert absolute power over them. It's no accident that the pathetic sexual insecurity of Donald Trump's crude boasting about assault on women did him no harm with his followers. On the contrary, they could see themselves in him. Fifth, there is the devotion to lies. Fascists have always understood that lying is not just, as it is for many conventional politicians, a tactic, but it's a strategy. And it's not merely about evading an inconvenient reality. It's about constructing a whole new reality. Alt-right should properly be alt-reality. Its primary business is the construction of a parallel world that looks like its own dark fantasies. Again, this justified a specific hatred for anyone who can challenge this construct. Decadent eggheads, experts, the mainstream media. The playbook for the strategic lying has been updated for the social media age, but the 1930s first editions are still the template. I mean, how many of you have heard Kellyanne Conway talk about what they consider their truths are? And she coined the phrase, their alternative truths. Talk about spin. No, Kellyanne Conway, that's called lying. And then you've got anti-Semitism. Now, sixth is rather weirdly, there is anti-Semitism. The persistence of anti-Semitism in the alt-right is very telling precisely because it makes no political sense. In the U.S., there is a well-established alliance between the hard right and the extremes of Israel politics, so there is nothing to be gained by stuffing this fetid stew. Yet the alt-right just can't help itself. The final TV ad in Trump's triumphant campaign featured three Jews, George Soros, Janet Yellen, and Lloyd Blankfein, as the dark manipulators of the global financial system. Actually, he should have really gone up higher and maybe, put in the Rothschilds. But anti-Semitism is in the DNA of the fascist virus. The biggest difference between classic fascism and the alt-right is simply the stage of development. We understand the consequences of the old fascist movements because they came to power. The alt-right has more than a foothold in power, but it is not yet in a position to fully construct a reality adequate to its own toxic idiocy. Its strength means that it's not too early to be alarmed. Its weaknesses means that it's not too late to fight. And for all of you out there, I've said this before, and as far as I'm concerned about Trump, let the record show I did not consent to him or to any of his agendas. Let it show that I did not vote for this man, that he did not represent me, that I did not believe he was deserving of being here, that I grieved his ascension. Let history record my objection to him, to the ways he humiliated women and vilified Muslims and threatened protesters and disregarded people of color. Let it record my repulsion and his tremendous cruelty, his lack of compassion, his contempt for dissension, his absence of simple decency. How reptilian of him. Let witnesses mark down my disgust at the way he boasted of infidelity and how he ridiculed a disabled reporter, at the way he attacked female opponents for their appearance, at the way he marginalized immigrants. Let it be remembered that I did not look the other way when women accused him of assault, when the reality of his Russian alliances came to light, when he refused to share his tax record, though large portions of the American people and its people choose to. All right, let's do some light work, shall we? So for those of you who've never participated, if you got a crystal, go grab that. And we're just going to sit down and we're going to do some bubbles of light. And in the bubbles of light, we're going to put in this energy work. And as I'm speaking, I just want you to pour all kinds of energy into the bubble of light to really amplify and magnify what we're doing, all right? So, yeah, we're going to do a lot of work on Washington tonight because, Lordy, what happens there affects the whole damn world, doesn't it? All right, so sit down, make yourself comfortable, put your feet flat on the floor, and I want you to start just taking some gentle deep breaths, not so you hyperventilate on me. And as you're doing that, I want you to imagine yourself hooking up to the Creator and feeling all this incredible energy just come pouring into the top of your head and just pouring into your body, and allow it to go to all those spots in your body that are out of balance, and let this energy just right now recharge and regenerate you. So I want you to imagine we're in this huge stadium, and in the center of the stadium, we're going to put a big 10-ton crystal, and we're going to do the bubbles of light over the crystal to amplify it. So you've got people to the left and you've got people to the right. In your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that you're holding their hands right now. And allow this energy that's coming down from the Creator into the top of your head flowing through your body. Feel it flow out your right arm going into the person next to you, and see the energy now flow to the right, creating this big, lovely circle, and many circles because it's a huge stadium. And we're all linked up through our heart chakras. And as this energy is going around, we're going to call to all the gods and goddesses out there, past, present, and future, all the people that are doing light and energy work and prayers. We're going to ask that the divine adds all that energy to what we're doing. We're going to call the air, earth, fire, and water, all the elementals, all the angels, the archangels, your guardian angel. And we're going to invite them in to add their energy to what we're doing. Send light and love to the left, and as the energy flows to the left, the circle is closed, so only that which is light enter. We're going to call to the trees, invite the trees in, and we're going to ask the trees to take this energy, to send it into the earth through her roots and out through the branches so people can feel some positive high energy. We call to all the rock stones, crystals, minerals, all the earth keepers, to lock in to this big earth keeper into the center and amplify our works over 100,000 fold. We call to all the grids, ley lines, meridians, domes, obelisks, pyramids, all the sacred and holy spots on the planet to lock into this light circle. And I'm going to ask that everyone participating receives the healing tonight. And that you guide us into doing that. Our will, but thy will be done. All right, so release everybody's hands, put them in your lap, or you can use them to send out energy. So take a deep breath, and as you exhale, feel this energy come pouring against your body, coming down your arms, out your hands. We're directing it into the center, forming a bubble of light. In this bubble of light, we're going to put Washington, D.C. in this bubble. So let's see the violet flame anchored in D.C. and transmuting all satanic ceremonies, as well as everyone working there. We cut all ties between everyone's hidden agendas and all energy of white supremacy, fascism, Nazis, transmuting that energy again through the violet ray. We ask that all dark energy veils be removed from everyone living in these areas, and their higher selves help them reconnect to the Creator, becoming awakened spiritual beings. We're going to send energy to all the Democrats in Washington that are the decision makers, so they can hold firm and resist everything Trump's doing. We're going to send extra energy to the Republicans and those that are ready to tip, and we're going to ask Michael the Archangel to come forth and remove all veils of energy that's around these people, that's keeping them from seeing clearly what Trump is and what he's doing, and to have the balls to stand firm and stand against him and against his programs. So let's blast Washington, D.C. with light. And while we're doing that, let's chant. And let's do it 3 times, okay? We're going to chant, may divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. Okay, come on. Shout it with me. You want it to manifest, the more energy you use using the power of the spoken word, we're going to create it. May divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. Fill it up with light, love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. So again, imagine another bubble of light, and in this bubble, we're going to put President Trump and all his associates. So we called the higher self of President Trump to help him reconnect to the Creator, becoming an awakened spiritual being that will now stand up for water and tribal rights and humanity. Envision Trump stepping up and denying the public easement through tribal lands, along with canceling the project completely. And if not, we want all record of Trump's involvement that he has or any investment in the pipeline to be brought to the surface so everyone can see the conflict of interest and that the feds come in and do something. We also cut all ties Trump has with the pipeline investors, the Jewish mafia, and all dark groups that are trying to control him, including Russia. Let's also remove all dark energy overlays around Trump that is stopping him from becoming an awakened spiritual being, taking right action for all of humanity. Now we ask Trump's higher self to help him reconnect to the Creator, becoming an awakened spiritual being who will protect land, again, mother and tribal lands, and humanity from the big corporations. We call the higher selves of all the government agencies to step forward and make Trump divest from all his corporate holdings. If he refuses, which is his free will, then let him be impeached for his actions, replaced with a light worker. Let's send energy, that spark of light that is left in Trump now to his heart, that the energy flows to the heart is now directed to his brain so he makes compassionate decisions. We also call to all the propaganda ministers to now speak truth, and the press to hold them accountable for their words. See all veils of dark energy removed from the masses so they see truth. Let's send energy to all the people who are standing firm against Trump's policies that are not for the benefit of humankind or the earth and all he does. Let them be divinely guided to right actions. Let's fill it up with light and love and take a deep breath and release it. So we're going to put all of humanity in this bubble. And we're going to call and ask that all the spiritual warriors awaken. We ask that all magic that is keeping the spiritual warriors from awakening be removed. May all the spiritual warriors reconnect to the Creator, become aware of their divine mission, putting them into action see these people fill up with so much light, they draw to themselves everything they need to be successful and happy. Awakened spiritual warriors inside me, I ask that all magic in myself that is keeping the spiritual warriors from awakening be removed. May all the spiritual warriors within me be activated with the Creator and become aware of their divine missions, putting me into action. See these people within me fill up with so much light. I fill everyone and everything with awakening light so they can be successfully happy. I call the spiritual warriors of light who are on all the other dimensions to come forth and give us help on the earth plane to help awaken and inspire those who are open to the possibilities of going beyond their divine potential, doing selfless acts for the planet, to work with us to help manifesting world enlightenment this year. Fill it up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. So now we're going to put all the world leaders in this bubble of light, and we're going to ask Michael to come forth and cut the ties and remove all the anger that they're having toward Trump and everything that Trump's trying to do to push them into war. We're going to send energy to their hearts, into their brains, and we're going to ask that they don't react. That they're calm, they're collected, and they're cool. And we're going to ask the angels bring other people up in our government that can speak to these people, to realize that we got a nutcase for a presidency and he doesn't speak for us. Fill it all up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. All right, we're going to create another bubble of light, and in this bubble of light, we're going to put Steve Bannon in it. Now we command Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to all of Elder Pike's satanic written works. We tie and bind every book of his, especially Morals and Dogma. We send the violet flame through all copies of the book, past, present, and future, to transmute all words to divine light and neutralizing all intent. We cut ties to Pike and all of Lucifer's prophecies, especially the manifestation of World War III. We cut ties to all that are trying to create this energy now. Violet flame it, transmuting all that negative energy so it has no forward movement, replacing it with peace and world divine enlightenment. We cut ties to the bracelet that connected Pike to Lucifer. As we reconnect that bracelet back to the Creator, we command it to be neutral and powerless so no one may use it. We cut all ties to Pike had to all the orders like Knights of the Golden Circle, the KKK, Knights Templar, Freemasons, the Vatican, the Illuminati, and their desire for a one-world satanic government. We also ask Michael the Archangel to cut all ties between these groups and all their agendas, oaths, vows, rituals that they may have taken together to bond their brotherhood and further their cause. And we ask Michael to remove all veils and overlays they have placed on each other, allowing each one to become a free agent, being set free from the bee mentality. We see all their plans falling apart, being replaced with divine world enlightenment, with people reconnecting to the Creator, becoming awakened beings. Now we call to Trump's chief strategist, Steve Bannon's higher self, to help him step forward into the light, and if he chooses not to, which is his free will, we ask his higher self to put him in a position of harmlessness. We surround him in a bubble of mirror that contains his energy with the violet flame added to transmute all his out-of-balance thoughts and plans back to light. This bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until he works for light. We call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties Bannon has with Trump, Priebus, Pence, Paul Ryan, Kellyanne Conway, Eric Prince and his neo-Blackwater mercenary militia, Breitbart News, all Christian white supremacists and Nazis. As ties between these being groups are cut, see their agendas falling apart. Now cut all ties Bannon has to Hitler in trying to manifest the right by force of will or by satanic magic. We remove all magic surrounding Bannon. It's removed now. We remove all veils of invisibility that surrounds him so people see him clearly as a Nazi that needs to be removed from the White House through legal means. See all these plans of magic falling apart now. We cut all ties Bannon has to Albert Pike in manifesting World War III by creating chaos through the Muslim world. See all satanic magic trying to move this dark agenda forward, filling with so much light, the plans fall apart. See all the federal judges standing up and making clear they will not uphold this illegal law. We send energy to the ACLU for stepping up and defending the civil rights of Muslims. See the spiritual warriors coming out for justice in a non-violent way with success. Imagine all Nazi swastika symbols reversing. So the energy now brings in peace and prosperity back to the earth and humanity. Every time anyone looks at a Nazi swastika, see the energy being reversed into its correct positive direction. We cut the ties to anyone whose intent is to misuse any sacred symbols. We call the violet flame through these symbols to clean them up, and we reconnect those symbols to the divine. See these energies being reversed to their positive, correct direction now. As Bannon tries to misuse the swastika by bringing chaos, see it reversed, bringing in peace and prosperity to everyone. See all his plans of shock events falling apart and backfiring on him. If this swastika symbol was used to set humanity's collective solar plexus backwards, we now reverse directions and see humanity moving forward in light and love. See Christian evangelicals increasingly awaken up to the truth as people realize they're being played. See them reorganize to challenge the leaders who are pulling the strings. Let them express divine compassion for all. As all these veils are removed from the masses, see a great awakening of consciousness with everyone, given lots of divine guidance on how to move forward in the light. Let's remove all energy veils of magic that Bannon has put over Trump. As these veils are removed, let Trump understand that Bannon is trying to make himself king and fire him, unconsciously replacing him with a light worker. See all of Steve Bannon's plans falling apart on every level. Let us now send lots of light energy to all our Earth grids, the morphogenetic grid, the ley line zones, obelisk pyramids, and all the sacred spots on the planet to correct our timeline back to peace and prosperity. Fill it all up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. We got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. So we're going to put the Super Bowl in this next bubble of light. Take a deep breath, and as we exhale, see another bubble of light form in the center. And as we put Super Bowl 2017, we call to the Creator, angels, spiritual hierarchy, and all the cosmic beings of light to give us their assistance in negating all negative thought forms and any test destruction tied to the February 2017 Super Bowl, replacing that energy with positive, peaceful, constructive thoughts. We ask the Creator to neutralize all sculptures, symbols, including all satanic worship and rituals to Osiris and Kali during the halftime show. We command the angels and all cosmic beings to interfere with all plans to sacrifice any human beings during, before, or after the Super Bowl, as well as neutralizing all satanic plans for creating chaos through their ritualistic energy. Let's call the violet flame through all symbols and music used during the halftime ritual, neutralizing all dark energy being sent out through the airwaves. We are putting up crystal shields on the outside of all TVs and computers so no one will be affected by any ritual energy performed during halftime. As the energy is neutralized, the crystal shield changes the energy to an enlightened, uplifting, awakening spiritual energy that brings on peace, joy, and harmony to all the homes and establishments that has the game on. We call the higher selves of all the celebrity sellouts that are performing the rituals at halftime. Ask them to step forward in the light of God, choosing not to give this energy. And if they choose to perform the ritual at halftime, which is their free will, we ask their higher selves to put them in positions of harmlessness, or that they make a lot of mistakes during their ritual entertainment that negates the ritual. Now, during halftime, chant, may divine enlightenment descend on every now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. We ask that the gladiator mentality be removed from all watching the game. Let them see the game with new eyes and with the understanding how much head trauma there is to the players, and choose to stop supporting the sport. We call the violet flame through the stadium to transmute all aggressive energies to one of kindness and compassion. We tie and bind all demons that may be drawn to anyone in the stadium or watching it on TV, the internet, whatever. We then send these demons back to the Creator and fill that space up with an angel of healing, protection, or love. Your choice. As this energy is removed from everyone, we ask that they now reconnect to the Creator, becoming an awakened spiritual being. We cut ties to any music and all symbols that refer to the destruction of the Super Bowl or any destruction of the planet by any kind of weapons, cleansed by the violet flame, healed by the angel light. See this energy being reconnected to the Creator, now commanding all elementals to be neutral. We see all symbols and all music losing their energy. We put all our creative energies into seeing the Super Bowl football game a safe event, along with all ritual magic being neutralized, affecting no one. We cut ties to all holographic machines, the computers that run them, and all satellites. If they try and communicate with each other, they receive nothing but white noise and lots of static, as all their high-tech equipment malfunction and break down, as well as all the operators and technicians have memory problems as they all become dyslexic around the equipment. We see everyone at the Super Bowl game having a very safe experience, and nothing happens. Nevertheless, not our will, but thy will be done. Fill this up with a lot of light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. Now I want you to imagine we're going to do another bubble of light, and in this bubble of light we're going to put the Mother Earth and see her gently rotating in the center. And we're going to remove all the dark energy overlays over the earth and all life forms. So we call to Michael the Archangel, Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, all the cosmic beings and the Creator, to cut all ties to all artificial plasma in the atmosphere that was reptilian created. As we cut the ties to their masters, we call the violet flame through all the cells, atoms, molecules, DNA of this plasma to clean it up. Now we reconnect it all to the Creator, filling it all up with divine love. We command it to be neutral and no longer function. See the plasma breaking up and neutralizing itself, let it not be able to form any square or ring frequency patterns. We place the mirror in front of the scalar and plasma weapon to return all signals and frequencies back to the reptilian station. As this is done, we see all the equipment imploding on itself. Let all computers connected with any scalar frequency machines being used overloading with this energy that was sent back, causing the machines to also implode. I call the debris in outer space from meteors, rockets, satellites to start to magnetize to all satellites that are not being used for the highest good of all mankind and interfere with their orbit cycles. We call the Helios and Vista to reach out and embrace these satellites with so much divine electromagnetic energy that it will interfere with signals that are not being used with divine purpose. and give the angels permission to interfere and divinely distort any signals coming from the satellites. We cut ties to all fifth-dimensional energy frequency vents around the Earth that is creating a dark energy overlay over the Earth to control and harness human consciousness. We cut ties to all machines that are, we cancel clear and cut all ties to all machines that are affecting us in the 3D world through frequencies, vibration, and sound that is directed at the electromagnetic fields to create negativity and chaos. We cancel clear all frequencies that are suppressing light, giving humans an oppressive feeling. We also cut the ties to military buoys connected to the reptilian stations and their dark masters. We command that all these buoys be contained in a circle of cement with a lead overlay to jam all frequencies, placing all these buoys in the position of harmlessness. We command that all frequencies connected to the Merkaba orthogonal transformers to break down and collapse, resolving the frequency fence that creates a self-perpetuating loop of negativity. We now send a gold and solar energy through these frequencies that shift the grid so people feel positive, happy, and see their life's missions and purposes. We now command the breakdown and deactivation of all scalar plasma weapons that are coming from low Earth orbit satellites and are targeting the most awakened light warriors on the planet. We also see the plasma and toplet bombs that are protecting these satellites breaking down, becoming non-functional. Let's send a gold and solar energy through the Earth's morphogenetic grid that neutralizes any dark energy that wants to control the grid. I call divine light, divine balance, divine male-female balance to the grid, ley lines, meridian zones, obelisks, pyramids, and all the sacred spots on the planet. I call the Michael Sword of Blue Flame to cut all ties to all satanic negative ceremonies that have been done, past, present, and future on these areas. See it blaze with the violet flame to transmute those power spots to divine light. Envision those areas blazing in God's divine radiating light, sending positive enlightened energy through the earth and all the sacred spots, radiating joy and happiness to the earth and all her inhabitants. As reptilian facilities break down, we see everyone reconnect to the Creator, becoming an awakened, spiritual, divine, happy being. They are also given their divine missions and purposes as they open to new possibilities that will help them go beyond their divine potential. So be it. Fill it up with light and love. Take a deep breath and release it. All right, so let's do one more bubble of light, and in this bubble of light, I want you to put yourselves, your family, friends, we're going to put in all the light workers, see everyone recharge and regenerate, and put in your divine missions. And I'm going to ask Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, to step forward and remove all the obstacles in your way that's keeping you from fulfilling your divine mission, from having so much abundance that you are able to share it with others, and you're happy. All right, fill everything up with light and love, and see all the activists being filled up with light and love and inspiration, all the people that are standing up for the pipelines, against the pipelines, all the Native Americans put in this bubble and let them recharge and regenerate and fill with all kinds of divine inspiration on how to move forward. All right, let's take a deep breath, fill this up with light and love, and let it go. Well, let's close the circle. So to do that, we're going to do 3 ohms. And come on, you can ohm with me. Nobody's going to hear you. And believe me, if we were all together, and like we do in our light circles on Thursday night, and I got a 1,000-pound crystal at my store. I have the largest crystal in Hawaii, in Honoka'a, Cathy's Angel Light Crystals, Miracles and Joy. But at the end, we put a hand on the crystal, and then we ohm, and the crystal just kind of makes us go into harmony. All right, so let's do 3 ohms. Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight and taking part in this incredible circle. I need everyone to ground, so I want you to put your feet flat on the floor if you don't have them there, and I want you to feel the earth energy come up your feet, come up your legs. And with every breath, you're going to feel yourself reconnect to the earth. You're going to come back in body. Feel yourself becoming very centered. And again, very clear-headed. More of the earth energy is coming up. Now, if you're still lightheaded after the show, if you have hematite, go grab the hematite and hold it till you're not lightheaded. If you don't have that, you can always go hug a tree. And all you have to do is, put a hand or two hands on the tree. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. And send all your excess energy into the tree. And when you've done that for 30 seconds, not a long time, ask the tree to send your energy back. And boom, you'll immediately ground. Or get some lodestone, which is another rock that will ground you. Or after the program, eat something that'll help you pull back in body. But you might really want to ground. I've had people go, oh, I don't need to ground. And, they were up for a couple of days. Got a lot of work done, though. But I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to be gentle, loving, and kind. So, ground. Do not forget, y'all, that Fukushima Fukushima, for those of you that have forgotten, that's a nuclear accident that happened in Japan. And they just had a nuclear accident over the nuclear accident, which is putting even more radiation into the air. So when you think about it, send energy and light into that area, call the violet flame, ask the violet flame to transmute some of that radiation. Why not? It's all intent. We're a magical crowd. We can do anything we put our intent. But you cannot forget, you cannot ignore it. If you're outside, be very, very careful. Take extra vitamins. And I like to say I'm very high maintenance now for all the work I do to maintain myself. And almost every day I do a natural antibiotic of turmeric, ginger, lemon, and I put a little dash of horseradish in it. And I make a tea out of it. And it seems also I have a lot more energy when that happens, when I drink that every day. That's a natural antibiotic. If you got peat moss, you might want to put some under your bed because that also pulls radiation out of your body. And it's been said if you can lay on peat moss for 24 hours, it'll pull all the radiation out of your body. And then it's good for up to about 4 or 5 months. You can throw it away. It's toxic. You can take a bath and put a cleanse bath, and I do it as much as I can, about a big box of baking soda and at least a pound of salt in the bath water and about a pint to a quart of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide puts oxygen back into your body, free oxygen therapy. The baking soda and the salt pulls toxins. The baking soda also helps pull out some radiation, and it helps pull out the aluminum that they dump on us through chemtrails. Yeah, this is high maintenance time. If you know people that are outside or they really work out a lot, they may want to do extra vitamins and things to really strengthen their heart. Radiation can affect the muscles of the body. And what's the strongest muscle in your body? Right, the heart. Radiation will go there. And how many people do you know, personally, that have had heart attacks? It's crazy. How many people do you know personally that has beaten cancer and has come back with a vengeance, and they're gone within 2 or 3 months. And now one doctor will say, radiation. How many women out there are having miscarriages? But, oh no, the doctors won't say, oh my God, it could be radiation. They're going to say, oh, it's your DNA, it's your genetics. So all I'm trying to remind you guys is be very careful when you go outside now. Make sure you take extra vitamins, because these are not normal times. And, you know, you're going to watch the Super Bowl at halftime and you see all that satanic ritual. Start chanting. May divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken with everyone now. Now counter that magic. It does make a difference. And chant as much as you can. Talk about enlightenment. Use the word. Make up sentences. If you don't talk about enlightenment, it's not going to happen, guys. So chant as much as you can, and it's an easy chant. May divine enlightenment descend on everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. Thank you guys for joining me tonight and giving us energy and giving the Light Circle energy. And, you know, if you like it and you like the group work that we're doing, share the program with others so they can come in and we can make it a bigger group. Now, for those of you, I'm just going to say really quickly, if you can, give the station a donation. Now, they're not asking for it. I mean, they've never asked me to ask you for a donation, and I'm going to, because they deserve it. It's quite a station of light. They put on all kinds of people on here, and they do not censor us. You know, they're incredible. And they deserve the help. They, you know, everybody's volunteer. So if you can, go to their website, and I know they got a donation button up there, and use that. You know, Starbucks, buck of coffee, everything adds up, and you are keeping us on air. And if there's ever a station that deserved it, it's UPRN. So on that note, I'm just going to say, chant, guys, may divine enlightenment descend on everyone now.